Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Triple Jump podcast. It's a video game podcast. My name is
Peter.
And my name is Ashton.
Good morning, everyone.
Hello.
Good morning, Mr. Potter.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Great.
Not so bad. Not so bad.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day in 2 days at the time of release.
Yeah.
Monday.
Got any plans? For
Thank God
Valentine's Day?
at the time of release, because I was like, oh, still not sorted for Valentine's Day. Better not be in 2 days at the time of recording, which it isn't.
Thankfully, it's
barely.
Do you normally do stuff for Valentine's Day?
I mean, we don't normally
go out.
We would never go out on Valentine's Day. It's the worst day to go out.
Yeah, it
you
is.
go out the day before or the day after if you really want to do something, but just go out whenever you want. You know,
Just have a nice time at home.
Except on Valentine's Day, where it's busy everywhere, and they're trying to rush you out of any restaurant because
And they
want
charge
to,
premiums.
Yeah, and they charge premiums, and they want to get another person on that table that you're on. So they're like, okay, hurry up,
Come on.
eat up.
You have 12 minutes to eat, not including cook
Yeah.
time, so you best, inhale that and move on. And if you're at Weatherspoons, it's not a problem because the food comes out before you've even ordered it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
But everywhere else, no go.
I never really been into Valentine's Day,
No,
but then I've only really had a boyfriend for the last 5 years, and he's not really into Valentine's Day either. So
It's dictated by that.
yeah,
It's a silly holiday.
it's a conspiracy by greetings card companies, is what they say.
That is what they say, yeah.
Yeah.
Who's they?
People from the West Country,
Yes.
seemingly.
People from the West Country who specifically don't like Valentine's Day.
have you got any plans for Valentine's Day?
No, I'm going to maybe treat myself to a sit-down wee.
Oh,
Doesn't that sound nice?
come on.
What
Maybe
a-
I'll have a stand-up
big-
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds
Might make
more
a bit more
dangerous for
mess.
you.
That's less of
than
a
it is
treat,
for us.
really. It
Yeah.
involves a lot of cleanup. I
Yeah,
think.
probably.
Absolutely. That's something for MB to deal with.
Yeah.
Do that at your home house.
Yes.
Not in your Newcastle house. Well, this is our video game podcast. Welcome. Thank you for listening to that, whatever that was. Each and every week, we are sponsored by a very real video game adjacent, there goes a train, sponsor. Ashton has the ad read in front of her now.
I do indeed. Hey boys,
Yeah.
what have you always wanted while you're on the toilet? That's right. To look at passers-by. If you want to sit on the toilet and see what's going on in the world, but don't have a window maybe, or maybe you just fancy a bit of a exhibitionist kind of situation. Coming very soon, it's Seapoo.
Seapoo.
Yeah. S-I-P-U.
P-U.
Seapoo.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that.
How is I'm sure this has nothing to do with the product that we are sponsored by. How is the game pronounced?
Saifu.
Is it? I've been just reading it as Saifu all this time, but I've never
idiot.
heard anyone say it out
you
loud.
fool.
So that makes me feel a lot better about
Saifu.
This guy.
This guy over
Saifu.
here.
That's a product where you just sort of sit on the toilet and go,
Yeah. It's when you have a really nice
Or
one.
try
Yeah.
to control things with your mind power.
a Saifu. Yes. PSI poo.
Okay, that's good. What's the combat like in Seapoo?
Well, I suppose it's a real combat with your vulnerability and your shy pooing. You have to really combat that because not only can you see out, they can see
They
it.
They
see
can
in.
see
So
it.
if
They
you're,
could have come up with a one-way
It's not a
glass
one-way
system,
mirror.
but no.
yeah, but it's Seapoo, so it's Seapoo both ways, you know?
The glass is Seapoo.
Yeah,
You can
exactly.
see right poo
You
it.
can
Yes.
see right pooing.
This is silly. Is it real?
No,
good.
not
For
real.
God's sake.
Good.
Oh, shame.
That is a real shame. I was looking forward to Seapoo. No, we're not sponsored by Seapoo. We are sponsored each and every week by wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/Team TripleJump, where for as little as $1 per month, you can submit questions to this very podcast and get access to all other manner of things if you climb those tiers and look at those other rewards. There's tons of them. There's flipping loads of them. They're well good, but there's something else we want from you as well that you don't have to pay for.
Facebook.com/Team TripleJump. Please go there and follow the page. When we get to 10,000 followers, and we're very close now, very, very close.
8,000.
We're 8,000 now. We'll be able to monetize the content eventually. Turns out you also then have to have a number of minutes watched, but we'll cross that
But the
bridge when we
10,000
come
bit
to
is
it.
the hard part. The
Yeah,
minutes
Yeah.
watched
that's
is
the
the
difficult
easy
bit. So we'll be able to monetize the content there, and that will genuinely really help the channel in a financial way. So do that.
If you haven't done it yet, right now.
Do it right
We'll
now.
go- like, what are you
Facebook.
waiting
Wait.
for? It's free.
Yeah.
You never have to interact with a post. We just need the bodies.
All you need to do is go into your browser and probably type FA, and it will come up as a suggested thing. Go there. You probably if you're not logged in, it'll have your login details saved. Just click into the username, it'll fill it all in for you. Then just go on TRIPLEJ probably on the search bar. Yeah. We're not going to be that high up the list.
No.
Probably not, but we'll be there.
Head over there, follow it.
Go follow it.
Or just go to facebook.com/TripleJump if you fancy
Team
an
Triple
easier.
That's way
Team
more
TripleJump,
more typing.
Invite your grandma. Get them all on there. Easy as.
Do it.
Thank you, everyone. It's time for question 1.
It's from Fitzpoople, who was our sponsor today, brought by Ashton, I think.
No, that's Sea Poople.
So, yes, okay, that's right. Hello, Bap. Is there a game in particular that really brings out your competitive side? I'm not a very competitive person myself, but whenever I'm invited to play any of the Super Smash Bros. Games, I become very focused on winning. Not sure why. Anyway, you guys are the best. Best wishes, Jonathan, aka Fitzpoople.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you, Jonathan. Generally speaking, I am not a very competitive person because I feel like if I'm winning in a game, that it's just annoying for the person I'm playing against.
You're too empathetic.
I'm too empathetic, especially with games that I really like and the other person probably wouldn't normally be playing. But
you're allowed to say that you're good at. It's okay.
No, I mean games that I'm good at, but specifically ones that I really like and the other person is perhaps not familiar with and maybe is playing because I've said, we could play this. And they're like, okay, I'll give it a go. So like, for example, if someone was at my place and we had the PS2 going, I was like, we could play Tekken Tag if you like. And they might be like, I don't really know Tekken, but sure. I will definitely be going easy on anyone I am playing.
They look around your room and see all the Tekken Tag posters and
the medals,
your T-shirt, your trophies.
So I'm very bad at being competitive. Now, if someone had a gun to my head or to the head of someone I loved and said, Peter, you have to do well at this game, then I could probably bring myself to do it. But outside of that, I just can't. I just feel like, they're probably not having fun and they don't want to play against me. I think because that's how I feel when I'm playing a game with someone that I know they're really good at and I've hardly played. I just kind of feel like, is there much point in this? You know, I'm happy to. I don't mind not winning, generally speaking. But I'd rather not win in a game where we're perhaps evenly matched sort of thing and it's anyone's game. But if I'm just playing against someone who is an absolute boss at whatever, Street Fighter, then I'll be like, yeah, okay, right. Should we have another round, I suppose? So I put myself in those shoes when I'm the good one and I just tend to really just let people win or barely lose. Ashton?
I'm not a very competitive person with most games because I'm quite bad at most games. But I have this one friend who we don't play games against her very often because we're not very often we don't see each other. But she just brings out this side of me that I have to beat her. Like, she's my best friend, but I will do anything to beat her at a game. Literally anything. We played Mario Kart recently, and I think Mario Kart does slightly bring out the competitive side of me, but if I'm playing with someone who's really good, like we played it at the Christmas party, and I was trying not to get competitive because I kept losing and I didn't want people to think I was getting annoyed, so I was like, oh dang it, someone else should play now because I am getting annoyed. But then like if I play against her, I'm like feral, have to beat her. The same with Knowledge is Power. She gets me really amped up because she says, oh, you always win, Ashton. You always jukes it right at the end. She slags me off that I'm not actually as good at the game as I actually am because I'm really smart. And she will say oh, you always win. There's no point playing against you. And then I'll win and she'll be like, see, I told you. Or if I'll lose and she'll be like, oh, finally, Ashton didn't win. I'm like, you are going
Are you sure this person is your friend?
Yeah, but it's only when we play competitive games or like that kind of game that we are actually it's like we have a hatred towards each other when we play that kind of game. It's all love all the other times.
Yeah.
But you turn on a Switch or Knowledge is Power and it's like, we have no loyalties to each other. We will beat each other regardless of what the other one thinks. And then my boyfriend or other friends might be kind of just stuck in the situation with us and have to deal with us But
Take sides.
he amps her up as well, and he says, "Yeah, Ashton always wins. She's so jukesy." And I'm like, "Hold on a
Jukes?
minute."
I don't know what this word is. You always jukes it. What?
Jukes it.
It's like being really jammy with it. Like you kind of kind of win at the last minute, or you go like, "Oh, I'm not gonna win. I'm doing really bad," and then you win at the last.
You jukes it.
You jukes it.
How is that spelled?
I don't know. I just say it.
Bunda.
Yeah.
Bunda.
Bunda.
I was like, better. No.
She's good at knowledge is power, though.
I'm really good.
Promise.
I'm really smart. I've got lots of knowledge.
They don't ask you how to spell things in that
No,
game.
they don't. Ben?
I don't like losing. I don't think anyone enjoys losing. And I like winning. I think everyone likes winning. But I'm hesitant to say that I'm competitive, but I also do everything I can like you do with Mario Kart, or like you did with Mario Kart at the Christmas party, to kind of avoid situations that put me in a confrontational position, because I know that it's just I'm either gonna win, and as with you, Peter, someone's gonna lose, and that's gonna be sad, or I'm gonna lose, and I'm not gonna have had a very good time.
Yeah.
It's the same reason why apart from the fact that obviously they're a terrible company, boycott them if you will, that I've pretty much just stopped playing Warzone at this point, because I log in to get killed for 3 hours and then I go to bed sad and cross because I've just not had any fun. So I tend to avoid multiplayer games now. However, there are only a handful of competitive games where you have to compete with one another that I would say that I'm actually good at. And so losing at those is frustrating. Probably the prime example for me would be Crash Team Racing. I consider that to be a game that I'm actually pretty good at, and so whenever I lose at Crash Team Racing, it's not great. Like I don't smash stuff, but I am annoyed, like not visibly. I don't get abusive towards the people I'm playing with or anything like that, but I'm like,
so wasn't it great when that
really cross
game came out and just had no matchmaking whatsoever?
Yeah, it was
just
good.
Put you up against people who
put you up against actual
gods and robots
who would finish races so far ahead of everyone else
that even the person in second place,
the person in second place would not be able to finish before the countdown timer for the end of the race finished.
All it had to do, it's not even a complicated matchmaking. There's not a lot of stats to worry about. Just look at what people's best times are on any given race. That is stored within your profile, your account, or your average time. Just look at what that is and put everyone together who has a similar time.
Yeah,
it's like really easy to matchmake that game.
Just drag and drop. It's as easy as that, Activision. Simple as.
Oh yeah, that's another Activision, isn't it?
Yeah, Activision. Yeah. But yeah, Crash Team Racing, I think if you beat me at Crash Team Racing, well done. But I'm not going to be thrilled about it. And I might just not play Crash Team Racing for a while afterwards because I'm a bit sad.
Yeah.
So.
I have remembered one game I was quite competitive on, which you're not playing multiplayer kind of live against anyone else. But when I used to play Orcs Must Die 2 during uni, you get scores on any given level and it shows all your Steam friends on the leaderboard. And me and all my friends would constantly try and outdo each other. And we'd be going back and playing like odd levels and then messaging each other going, just beat you on 2 halls. And they'd be like, right, I'm going to go get you. So that was a brief period of my life but that was like fun competition. I didn't mind if someone overtook me because it's not like I did bad. It's like they did slightly better and I can do them again. But
PS5 didn't help, did it? With the Astro's Playroom times.
Yeah.
It was like, someone just beat your time. You gonna take that? You're gonna take that? You giant baby loser. Start this game now.
You little baby man.
You little stupid baby man.
You
Look
can't
at you.
win this, you little baby man.
You're pathetic.
You're
Who
rubbish.
do you think you are playing your PS4 games because there's no PS5 games yet? Get on the sack,
Sell
boy.
your PS5. You don't deserve to own
You
it.
gigantic, stinky baby man. They did the same for Sackboy, I think, as well. Set speedrun times in Sackboy, and I would get occasional auto messages like, "Oh, Peter Austin ran faster than you."
I absolutely did not.
I don't care what Peter Austin did or didn't do. I don't care. Stop it. Stop trying to get a rise out of me, PlayStation.
Because it's working.
Because it really is working, and I don't appreciate
getting a rise out of me,
Stop
PlayStation.
It. Leave me be. Leave me be.
Well, after that heated discussion,
Oh,
I think it's time to do a segment we've never even done before because, that's the best kind of segment.
Yeah.
It's time to talk about what we playing.
oh, hello.
It's what we play in time. Time to talk about what we play in. Peter, have you played?
I have played. I've continued to play in Uncharted 4. Having a lovely time with it. It's very pretty. I like the people. I like how they all talk in it.
Yeah.
Just when you're like walking and stuff.
Do you think about them when you turn the game
Walking
off?
and talking. Yeah, my friends.
Yeah.
My friends.
Nathan, and Elena,
the one with the mustache.
Victor,
The one without the mustache as well.
Samuel,
Yeah. And just the others.
the others, all the friends.
Just the same
There's at
faceless
least-
soldiers who I keep pulling off cliffs and stuff.
There's at least 3 of them. Sometimes they talk about their families.
Yeah.
When you sneak in there and they say, I can't wait to go back and see my family. And then Nathan, that scoundrel, that lovable rogue, he swings down,
That lovable murderer.
snaps their neck,
Yeah.
or boots them off a cliff.
Yeah.
They'll be with their family again soon.
Yeah.
All the friends.
Because Nathan will kill them.
Because Nathan
He
will
will.
find their family as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing Tom Holland doing that next weekend in the Uncharted
Just
movie.
committing, not war crimes because they're not at war. Arguably, it's worse. They're not
Jennifer
at war.
Oside?
Yes,
maybe?
Jennifer
Yeah.
Oside.
Yeah, just sort of decimating entire islands worth of people.
Yeah.
He's a good boy.
I really like slippity sliding down slopes in that game and jumping off and throwing a rope.
I would
or-
love to read the Peter Austin review for Uncharted 4. The people are great.
Yeah.
The
And I like
sliding,
the slippery
top
slide
notch.
dash.
Yeah.
things.
The crowds, some good crowds
Really
in that
good
game.
crowds, yeah.
I like being able to stab into the thing, the sort
The
of
big door?
the shingly wall,
Oh, yeah, with your picks.
and then you go huh, and do it again.
yeah,
And you can only do it like a few times, but yeah, that's a lot of fun.
10 out of 10.
There's green things and there's like a sky that's nice.
Sky's the best.
It's a good game.
One of
So
the best skies.
looking forward to playing Lost Legacy as well because that similarly has people and skies in
Some
it.
of the same people as well.
Wow.
Yeah,
Not many,
no,
but some.
it's going to be good and more people to murder.
So many people.
So
to
many
murder.
families to
Yeah.
break apart.
Another train. Uncharted loves a train.
It does love
So
a
many
train.
kids to leave without fathers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or
But
mothers.
Or mothers.
Nathan will get to them
Yeah.
eventually.
When they're growing up and they're old enough to be a soldier.
They take over the family business as
Yeah.
Mercenary
It's
5.
mercenary.
Nathan's child
Nathan will-
perhaps will grow up to be the
Yes, the
future
next murderer.
Nathan
Drake
Drake
murderer.
Jr.
Yeah. So that's all I've been playing actually, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And yeah, I said this last week, but I'm now so used to having played this up-resed, nicely remastered version that I can't sort of really remember the difference. But it looks great, so whatever, it's really good. I like it. Give it a go if you like.
Try it yourself.
Try it yourself.
Peter Austin says, try it
Try
yourself.
it yourself. That's my review. Try it. Don't ask me. Try it yourself.
That's the byline on Metacritic.
Yeah.
100% Peter Austin. Try it yourself.
Try it
Yeah.
yourself.
You can tell it's a bit cold in here on the video version. Just flipping huddled up.
Yeah.
All hoodied up.
Hands in pockets.
Yeah.
Arms folded.
Colded.
Colded, I
Christ.
think you mean.
The offices are really cold. And upstairs in our office, all the boys always have big hoodies on. And I always forget
You
to
got-
bring. I have
bring
a
a
hoodie
hoodie,
today,
keep it at
but I
desk.
forget to bring it, and then I wear it and I throw it
keep
home,
one
and then
at
I
the
forget to
office.
bring it back. But then everyone in the office, I'm in like my t-shirt because I don't want to have just my full coat on, and everyone in the office is like sat there, and I'm freezing, and
We're
I
in
go
the
and
coldest
turn the
corner of
heating
the
on,
office.
and then I like turn it on for like half an hour, and then someone on the other end of the office turns it off, and I'm
Yeah.
like, why am I so cold again? What's
I've noticed that
going
there's been a
on?
bit of a cold war, as it were,
Well,
on,
hey.
on the central heating button or the
Because
aircon button.
where we are, the 3 of us, we're the furthest away from the heater, and we're in a corner surrounded by windows.
We've got windows on both walls
So
of
it's,
us.
yeah, they're a lot warmer down that end than we are. We're at the extreme of the building. The kitchen, I'm assuming, backs onto this building.
Yeah.
So, it's not like they're exposed to the elements. But yeah, you need to bring a big hoodie and just keep it away.
Yeah.
Office hoodie. Bring an office hoodie.
Yeah, but what if I want my office hoodie at home?
Then you need to get a home hoodie.
Buy more hoodies, I guess.
I do
A
have
hoodie
lot.
for every occasion.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
the solution. Anyway,
Do you know what I've been playing?
Yeah, I would actually.
Yeah.
Okay. I've been playing Horizon the Frozen Wilds DLC. I finished the.
Frozen Wilds in here.
Are there
Yeah,
people
it
in
is.
that?
There are people in that.
Do you
There's
think
quite a
about
lot of
them when
people
you
in
go
that.
home?
I do.
Okay, that's
To be
nice.
honest, I think about Alo all the time at this point. And it's really good. It's not, I mean, for a DLC that was, I think it was free? No,
No.
it wasn't. But it came with the
It was then immediately
PlayStation Plus
bundled,
version,
with
yeah.
every version.
I really enjoy it. I think it's really good and it's got a lot of interesting story. Not a huge amount that kind of contributes to the rest of the lore, but kind of a nice twist. I won't ruin it for people. Well, if you watch the video that came out yesterday, I already told you what happened. But anyway. And then I've been playing some more Nobody Saves the World, which was the dungeon crawler game I was kind of telling you about last week. I heard a bit more of it when I was home at the weekend. And I really like it. I think it's really clever. I unlocked the slug and the bodybuilder. So I've been just
Nice.
punching things.
The two body types.
And I've really enjoyed it. It's quite a good little game, and the co-op, like the way it plays in co-op, is really smart and doesn't feel annoying. The only annoying thing is that when one person opens the menu, you can't do anything. So I opened the menu to do something, and then walked away to go to the toilet, and Ben couldn't get me out of the menu. So I was like, sorry.
Whoops.
But yeah, I finished the Frozen Wilds DLC actually for Horizon. So I don't know what I'm going to do with myself until Friday. Probably just
What's happening on Friday, Ashton?
Horizon Forbidden West is coming out.
It's coming.
I have been like, I wish there was a way, I was saying this today, I wish there was a way that I could tell the cookies that follow me around the internet that I'm already going to buy Horizon Forbidden West, because every single advert on any website, on any YouTube video, whenever I'm watching like, I don't know, Channel 4 on demand or something, every single ad break has Horizon Forbidden West in it. I was watching something I downloaded at the weekend on the train home, and it's like a 4-hour train ride, and I was watching, there's like 3 adverts in every show, and every single advert break in every single show had Horizon Forbidden West, and I was like, I'm already buying
You're
it.
wasting your money.
I'm going to buy it, and all you're doing is making me more sad that I haven't got it right now. So just leave me alone.
Are you going to take Friday off and play it?
I was considering it, not going to lie. I was considering maybe taking a half day so that I could do a cryptscope on it and then go home and play it for the rest of the day.
I think that's a good idea.
So
I'm going to do that with Elden Ring.
yeah,
So
that's smart. But I am really excited. I don't know what I'm going to play this week. Maybe finish Little Nightmares 2 because I never finished it.
how about Life is Strange? You remember that Life
I
is
finished
Strange?
it.
Did you?
Did I not tell you?
No.
Oh,
Well, I didn't know because
I finished
I hadn't got it.
I finished
in
it
my
over
hand.
Christmas. I'll give it back to you.
Thank you.
I need to find where I put
Was it good? Did you like it?
Yeah, I did. I really enjoyed
Okay,
it.
well, that's good. True Colors is lovely. I'd recommend that.
Okay. Ben, what have you been playing?
I'll tell you. So last night I played a little bit of Journey to the Savage Planet, which I've already finished. But I was just messing around in co-op with my friend, just sort of cleaning up, getting stuff.
Getting the globs.
Getting those globs.
Gloobs.
Getting the trophies and some other stuff. Working towards 100% completion, which I don't think was ever our aim, because as soon as we finished it and realized, we now have practically all the upgrades so we can reach almost any area. Why not just go do everything? We looked at the amount of things to do and it was just a bit overwhelming.
quite substantial.
Couldn't be arsed. But then last night when we just decided to have a mess around in it, we ended up actually doing quite a lot. So it turns out that this may be a journey that we didn't intend to have, but we're having it anyway. There we are. Apart from that, I've jumped back into Disco Elysium. I've made it out of my self-imposed talk to everyone,
Walk around
interact
talking.
with everything purgatory, and I have actually started playing it. I finished the first day now, and it's so good. It's really good. Like it's just a point-and-click adventure game that's not a point-and-click adventure game, and it makes sense, and it's clever, and there are, based on your skills and the way you've set up your character, you will have a higher and the information you've learned and all that. There's lots of factors that tie into the chance of you succeeding in a particular dialogue option, for example. And some of them, a bit like, a tabletop RPG, involve acts of physical strength and feats and things like that. So your physical abilities will be tied into it. And there's one bit, this isn't a spoiler, where there's a physical confrontation and it's against this massive man who you just stand no chance of beating. But as per Sam from Cultaholic, if you just do a save beforehand, you can basically just reload until you get the desired outcome. And seeing as I'm here for a fun time and not necessarily a long time or a legitimate, you haven't played it properly experience, I just re-rolled until like I absolutely smashed this giant man in the face with my very low percentage chance. And I was like, this is great. It's so good. I love this. It's so stupid. And I'm looking forward to playing more, but I haven't had a chance this week so far. Apart from that, my parents visited last weekend. So I played lots of sort of easy party phone games. Knowledge is power. They loved Uno. The
Uno
console version of Uno.
God, that goes on for so long.
It really does. It doesn't end, but they had a great time. And that is all I've been playing.
And we played Uno for like, I want to say like 2.5 hours.
It's because the games just keep going.
It just keeps going. You like think you're at 1 and then suddenly you've like swapped your hand with someone who had 20. They're at 1 and then they get given like 15 cards and you're like,
I've played physical Uno, but I've not played the game version.
The game one goes on for a very long time.
But it does all the thinking for you.
Yeah,
So it tells you what you can and can't do, which is, straightforward.
Let's have a question too. This comes from 3D Palace. They say, "Hiya, Bap. So as a game developer, I'm curious as to what is your most hated feature, aside from loot boxes, that has made it into modern gaming."
Thanks, 3D Palace.
Thank you, 3D
Thank you,
Palace.
We've talked about this a couple of podcasts ago, where I just purely by name more than anything else, I just don't like when things are called card systems, especially when they're not card systems. Like if it's a card game, if you're playing Hearthstone, then obviously it's a card game, right?
But Gwent.
Yeah, or Gwent, indeed. But when you're playing a third-person action adventure game and you're just in combat, and then you have to like spend cards to do attacks, just call them abilities. Yeah. You have to call them star cards, or like Lost in Random as well. I've not actually played that, but I was intrigued by that game and its art style until they brought out that gameplay trailer where they were like, and this, of course, is the card system. You can build your own deck by collecting. Oh, no. Please, stop.
I do agree.
I hated that in Back for Blood.
Yes, that was stupid.
I didn't
Why
like
did they
the
call
card
it a
system.
card system?
And then they were like, you can only have 15 cards, but if you want to complete the whole campaign, you need like 25 cards. But you can't have 25 cards. You can only have 15 at a time.
Right.
That was annoying.
Yeah. I don't know why they called them cards. They didn't need to do that.
It's ridiculous. I don't know why that happens. And also, I just brought a second one along. I don't like when crafting is like anything beyond sort of surface level. I really like the crafting in The Last of Us. You just, you got like a few different items that you can find, and they all do 2 things. There are different pairings of like 2 of the 4, and you can make stuff with them. And that's it. I think there were 4. I think as you went on, there were maybe like 6 or 8 different things you can get. But anyway, like it was pretty basic set of ingredients or components, and you can just very easily stick a couple of them together and get an item out of it. I don't want to have to collect like 10 of these, 3 of those. Some games have it where like, I remember in Dragon's Dogma, there was, if you picked up anything sort of organic, like if you got a fish from the river or like some vegetation, it would rot in your inventory if you didn't use it in time. And not only does that mean that like it would eventually rot and you couldn't use it because it would be bad, but also there were certain recipes that required something to be like slightly off. So you could like, your fish would be going like a little bit nasty, and then you would like make some sort of pickled fish dish that you couldn't make with a fresh fish or with a completely rotten fish. And just let me pick up a plastic bottle and a bit of glass and turn it into some sort of bomb. That's all I want, So yeah, I don't like when crafting is too intense, really.
To be fair, I don't like it when a game has crafting but you can't track it. Like, it doesn't quite tell you all the time when something is available to craft. Like, when you're in The Last of Us, you can, like, just open the like, wheel of what are they called?
Fortune.
Weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah, fortune. And it will show you that you can craft something. But sometimes I'm like bumbling along and I'm like, oh, have I checked my crafting menu, and I open it and I've got like 3 or 4 things that are craftable. Or if I'm like looking for like one specific resource, I can't pin it so it tells me that I'm looking for that. And then by the time I've left the menu, something's happened. I've already forgotten. So, but I had a couple. One was when games don't let you sprint. I hate that. I like to just bolt round places.
Especially when you're not in combat.
Speed. Yeah.
If there's like a big world to cross and,
Yeah.
you've got an actual stamina bar going down and then you just walk for a bit, wait for it to build up, sprint again, walk again.
I hate the use of stamina in games. Kind of like, I'm not playing this game because it's realistic. I'm playing this game because I want to have fun and sprint as far as I can for as long as I can. I also don't like walking escort missions.
Yeah.
They suck. Why can't they go as fast as I do? But why do I walk much faster than them? Or they walk too fast for me, but if I run, then I can't keep up with them. Like, stupid. Don't make me do that. They follow me at my pace, please.
I'm in control.
I'm in control. And the last thing is that games marketed as co-op, but the progression is only available for the person hosting the other person. Like Far Cry 6, it was like, you can play in co-op, but if you play in co-op, only Ben will get the benefits because technically you're in Ben's save, so you have to do everything all over again if you wanted to do it. I hate that. And then also when a co-op game makes you complete a mission separately, it's like a single player mission, and it's like join a co-op team and then you go and do a mission and you're just doing it on your own, but technically still in a co-op team. That annoys me as well. Destiny 2 did that quite a lot. You'd be like in a situation where you'd be in a mission, and then it'd be like, if you want to carry on, you have to leave your fire team. And I'm like, why? This mission is very easily done between 2 of us. Why do I have to leave? So, yeah, don't like that.
Just hate games.
Just hate
really.
games, actually. Yeah, if they could just make them better.
Just get rid of them. Oh, I do not like the menu systems that Destiny introduced, which are now in so many console games, where they're basically a PC game menu.
Yeah.
Where you have a little cursor that you move around the screen.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like that. I understand that in some instances it might be easier to hold a diagonal direction with the left thumbstick to reach an option that's in the top right. But I would much rather a menu that's specifically designed around using the D-pad. I don't like it, because more often than not, I have played games where there are options or things I can interact with that I didn't even know I can interact with because I haven't hovered the mouse cursor over it. And it's like, I shouldn't be expected to use a thumbstick as an analog for a mouse. Like that's not what that should be for. It feels to me, and I don't say this lightly because I know it's actually not lazy at all, but it feels lazy in that a lot of developers just can't be asked to make a menu system that's specific to console, or don't have the resources necessarily perhaps to put into developing a specific solution for consoles. But I really don't like the menus where I've got a cursor. It just does it. It's not right on console. It's not right because I will stubbornly try and use the D-pad, and then more often than not, this was especially the case with Far Cry 6, when I was like, no, I'm not using your stupid radial menu, whatever the hell it is. I'm going to use the D-pad instead. You'll press right to get to something, and it'll go in like a weird, it'll like select the polar opposite option from what you would logically expect that direction to get you to. You press right to go over one, and it will go up. It's like, no, or it'll go down. It's like, no, I'm not pressing right to cycle through all the options. I want to move to the right. It just doesn't seem logical. And it seems a shorthand now with a lot of big budget games as a way to just sort of like, let's not bother coming up with something to make that work. Let's just use the same thing across all of them. So I don't like that. I also don't like, and this is fortunately becoming more rare, but it is still a thing, where games have their own proprietary keyboards. So when you you click into a text box to type something, it doesn't bring up the console typing menu. It brings up its own special keyboard that doesn't always control the same way as the keyboard that you're used to using on your console of choice. And that is stupid. Again, what are you doing? Don't do that. I hate that. Also, subtitles in every game, please.
Yeah.
Subtitles in every
There
game.
should be subtitles in
Thank you
every
very much.
Cutscene subtitles and just sort of like closed captions for I like just seeing little bits of crowd stuff that I can't even hear. And like someone's over there just saying, "Did you hear the news?" Yes, I did.
Tell me about the news.
I love that in TV shows as well. When you'll just be like, one random extra will just be like, "Yeah, you go, dude," and it'll just make it the bottom. Like,
yes, you go, dude. Yes.
Okay.
Right, cool.
Go off, son.
But I want lots of subtitle options so I can have that additional one. Because sometimes you'll just put on the subtitles and you'll get grunts.
Everything.
It's like, okay, well, I
and they're like stacking
rustling
up
footsteps
on each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you about keyboards in the sense that I think all keyboards should control the same. But I do, and normally I would rather just use the console one. But I do sometimes find it a little bit like, it kind of breaks my immersion. If I'm in like quite an atmospheric horror game or like, something quite high fantasy, and then suddenly this big grey like PS5 or PS4 keyboard.
I can't imagine anything worse though than having some parchment ass looking thing. It's like they didn't have typewriters in Skyrim.
No, maybe not high fantasy, but yeah, like if I'm in a horror game, I would in some ways I'd rather a typewriter or something came up, but it should control and look pretty much identical to the console one.
That's fair. It's arguably the same then when you go to create a new save data in something like Resident Evil and it goes booting and brings up the the console menu like, would you like to create a new save or save it? And it's like, okay, well, I mean, now I don't truly believe I'm in a 18th century village.
On a typewriter.
You've ruined the atmosphere.
Ruined. Those. I mean, I think a lot of those are quite petty, but also there's some truth in that too. So sort it out, 3D Palace.
And we should be
ambassador
able to
for developers.
Pause every cutscene.
Yeah.
Yes, you should be able to pause everything
now, pretty much in every game
without accidentally skipping stuff. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's time, everybody, for something a bit strange.
A bit peculiar.
It's called, Peter Austin,
Weird News.
It's weird news time. Time for some weird video game news. Peter, do you have some strange video game news?
No.
No.
You need to stop.
It's time to talk about the podcast producers. Of course, if you go to patreon.com/Team TripleJump, I swear that was genuinely not intentional.
I knew it was coming. I just had a feeling. I was like, I'm not going to stop him. I'm going to wait until he does it.
Team TripleJump and support us at a certain tier. You can become a podcast producer. You get a shout out right now and run the risk of being completely ignored by me every single week.
We always remember you, though.
Yeah. We remember you, Alex McDonald.
You, Caden Agronox.
Not you, Checkered Omega.
You, Sean Legg.
You, GY Goliath.
Not you, Ellie Nicholas.
You, Erica Hutchinson.
You, Melody L. Bonnet.
Not you, Stephen Skodes.
You, Gabrielle Philippink.
And specifically you, Katie Garrett or Jared.
Thank you, podcast producers.
Thank you.
I can make excuses a mile long for why I forget every week, but I think this time it was because we got to the weird news bit and then we all take a brief break where we have a chat and pull out our phones and get our weird news ready. At which point I'm of single focus.
So ready to read what's on his
it's
phone.
news time.
It's like since we started reading question 2, I thought I know he's going to skip podcast producers.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to say anything in case you didn't, so I just kept quiet. But I was like, I think he's going to do it again, and then he did it.
Does it every
Never ever remind him. I don't want us to ever remind him.
I don't want to ever remind him.
I just want to see.
It's much more fun. One day you'll learn.
I won't. I was on a pretty good streak, but no, it's not gonna stick.
No. Peter, do you have some weird news?
I've got a weird news that I found all by myself.
Oh,
no one
big
submitted
boy.
this. Yeah, it's from Kotaku because that's where all our news comes from. If we find our news ourselves, this is written by John Walker, and it says. Real-life spies troll each other over Wordle. You could say MI6 and GCHQ are bonding over this, but no one would be impressed.
What was the joke?
James Bond.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't get it. I thought it was something to do with Wordle, and I was like, well, it's not a 5-letter word.
It's not a 5-letter word.
Covalent bonds?
Yeah.
I'm so sick of hearing about Wordle. Sorry.
I love it.
Me too. I've been kind of sick of it since. It's a good game, but I've been sick of it since the beginning. Like, what I don't know why people post their things on Twitter.
You guys.
I know I'm in the minority.
When everyone has a little
I know
thing
I'm in
that
the
we
minority,
all bond
but the thing
about.
that you like is stupid because I don't like it.
And now it's
The
been
end.
bought by whoever it was.
New York,
York
right,
Times.
he sold it, but good for him.
Yeah,
Good for him.
Get
for him.
that
Yeah,
bag,
good for him.
Mr. Wordle.
Good for him.
Well, Ben, we might be in the minority, but I've got at least one more person here who hates Wordle. Or
Is
people.
it Bond James?
Yeah, it is Jimmy Bond himself. Wordle continues its gentle taking over of the world in the days.
That's a really big. Jesus, it's a really big stamp going on up there.
In the days following the surprise announcement that the New York Times is buying the game for at least $1 million, the head of the UK Secret Intelligence Service, MI6, tweeted complaining about people's results from the word game appearing on his Twitter timeline. He was then immediately trolled by sister spy agency GCHQ. Can you be quiet?
What does GCHQ stand for?
Government, Harry,
What about the C?
Corgi,
Government Corgi, Harry, Quentin.
Quentin.
Harry.
Harry.
GCHQ.
The Government Corgi, Harry Quentin. That's what it stands for.
Government Communications Headquarters.
Thank you.
So they just put an additional Q.
They're the people who are listening to you and sending you ads for Horizon. I think that's how it
cookies.
works, isn't
Well,
it?
they're not listening to me hard enough.
While the complexity of the myriad UK spy agencies is far too boring to fully explain here, the important bit is that MI6 is the one James Bond is from, responsible for foreign intelligence, and GCHQ is the Government Communications Head. If only I'd read
If
one
we'd have
sentence
just
ahead.
waited further along, we would have found out.
Harry.
GCHQ is the Government Corgi Harry Quentin, focused on providing secrets to the government and armed services. These are the real deals, the actual spies, and it seems they're as caught up in Wordle as everyone else except Ben Potter and Peter Austin.
God.
Yesterday, current head of MI6, yes, as in M, but in real life he's actually C, Richard Moore, tweeted that he, like so many... What's the point in us knowing that he's called Richard Moore and him being C? Like, isn't that supposed to be a code? I don't know. Anyway, Richard Moore tweeted that he, like so many others, is a bit sick of seeing people posting their Wordle results all over Twitter. Yeah. Enough that he's pondering unfollowing such accounts.
Oh my God.
So
I don't post my Wordles. I just do it for myself.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's okay.
I posted it one time when I got it on the second attempt because I was really proud of myself. Because my first word was boobies, which has only got 3 letters in it.
Fantastic.
Well, it
And
can't
then
have been boobies because...
Well, it was booby, sorry, singular.
Booby.
Booby. And then I figured that out on the second, even though I only used 3 letters, and people were like, that is not a good starting word. And I was like, figured it out.
Works
Got
for
it.
you.
So if you want to just like be a bad person, like who's gonna, kill someone important, then all you need to do is just post loads of Wordle on your timeline, and MI6 are going to be looking elsewhere. They don't want to see that. Yeah, they'll block you. Yesterday, current head of... I've read that. In a common stance among curmudgeons who presumably have trouble using a mouse wheel... biting.
What's a curmudgeon? A what?
Curmudgeon. It's like curmudgeonly. It means sort of grumpy old
Oh, okay.
misery guts.
It's like to duke
Like you.
someone.
Yeah.
Whoa. That sort of came out of nowhere.
Whoa.
But I'm not going to argue because you're right.
Yeah.
In a common stance among curmudgeons who presumably have trouble using a mouse wheel, common enough that it's a common stance. I'll get to the end of this article one day. It's a common stance among curmudgeons who presumably have trouble using a mouse wheel, common enough that it even drove one particularly unpleasant individual into creating a short-lived bot that used the game's internal algorithms to spoil the next day's results.
What a dick.
But it's perhaps a surprising outburst from someone you'd hope might be a little more focused on the borders of Ukraine just at the moment.
Oh, okay. All right. Take that.
Whoa.
It's looking down her nose over at Kotaku.
Richard Moore not allowed to clock off at any point and just do something on Twitter because there's things happening in Ukraine. Rather brilliantly, GCHQ's official Twitter account responded to this with a mocked-up Wordle screenshot. And it says, sorry. I don't know if that means GCHQ have been posting their results and pissing off MI6, but anyway.
Maybe.
Sadly, this did not then descend into a full-on Twitter chain of all the world's spy agencies joining in, brand style. I wanted the FSB to drop their distributions, then the CIA to pretend they are alerted to the correct answers days in advance. Not even Wendy's piped up, but fortunately it did take time to mock McDonald's new monstrosity. So that's just a link to another article.
Famously spy agency, Wendy's.
Yeah. However, the UK's right-wing newspaper for posh idiots, The Telegraph,
What is happening in this article?
Just
swinging for everyone.
did entertainingly completely fail to understand the tweet, writing an entire story about how Moore was upset at people giving spoilers and his frustration at those who reveal the answer before people are able to solve it themselves. A story that's still up on their website, still wrong 24 hours later. So at least there's that. Meanwhile, if you want to do better at Wordle, you should take a look at Lisa Marie's tips. Guess that's just another writer.
Tell us, Peter. Tell us Lisa Marie's tips.
I don't know, but I did see someone had used an algorithm the other day to find the best opening word in Wordle.
I put audio because that has 4 out of the 5 vowels.
That's a good one, but not the most common vowel.
No.
The one time I tried to play it, I didn't realize you had to put a word in, so I just put all the vowels and it said no.
That's not a word.
And then I closed it. And that was my experience with
It's
Wordle.
just a nice little thing in the morning where you just sit on your phone and just type in a couple of words and try and figure out what word it is.
I don't need that. Because
I think maybe you do need it.
No, I don't need that.
Just a little something in the morning to make you happy when you get it right.
Less curmudgeonly.
Yeah.
I look at memes instead.
Adam Pacitti loves it.
Great, good for Adam Pacitti.
He's a Wordle fiend.
Brilliant, good for him.
Everyone seems to love it at the office.
Don't be angry
why
about it.
are you bringing him up? Like, that
just saying.
matters to me. What he likes.
Jeez.
Oh my God.
It's gone cold in here
All
now.
I'm saying
Gee whiz.
is that Wordle is
Touched on a nerve.
stupid. I don't get Wordle. I honestly don't.
According to an article by Luke Plunkett, the guy who did an algorithm to find the best opening word reckons that crane, C-R-A-N-E, is the best opening word. Don't know why.
I have some weird news.
Do you?
Yeah.
Go on, then.
Comes from Twitter at Sable_curse. And it's from Eurogamer, written by Tom Phillips, who's the deputy editor, apparently.
2 first names. 3 first names. Phillips.
That's not allowed. This isn't Wordle.
It wouldn't fit in Wordle.
I wouldn't know.
Halo Infinite fans buy nail polish for exclusive skin, only to find it's for Forza. Master Chief given finger is the subheading. Halo fans, now rich in glittery bottles of nail polish, have found themselves unable to redeem an accompanying Halo Infinite skin. Last month, Microsoft announced a deal with nail polish brand OPI and two of its games, Halo Infinite and Forza Horizon 5. Fans who bought bottles of the sparkly finger makeup would be rewarded with similar shades for their Spartan/car. Okay.
Set 'em right, Ashton.
Just
Speak your mind.
never heard anyone ever refer to nail polish.
polish on.
That's what sparkly finger makeup. Men. Anyway.
Men.
However, it now transpires that the initial batch of nail polish offered Forza codes only, leaving Halo fans feeling everything other than shiny. The offer's Halo Infinite skins will instead.
Anything other than made up.
Halo Infinite skins will instead arrive via upcoming bottles of nail polish sold via Amazon in the US and internationally from retailers this month. It now transpires. Kotaku reported that the offer's terms and conditions had recently been updated on OPI's site to make this clear. I think you might have figured it out already, but Forza has an exclusive in the US with makeup retailer Ulta for their code. Microsoft's Halo partnership lead explained via Twitter, a code for the Halo armor coating will be available with purchase starting from the 1st of Feb at Amazon in the US and in other regions at other retailers. Some fans say they have now got their hands on the right nail polish bottles, but there's one final wrinkle. The skin itself isn't available in Halo Infinite yet, and it won't be until the game's next patch. You could argue there's more pressing matters for Microsoft to deal with than
Like Ukraine.
Halo Infinite. But it's probably fair to say this promotion hasn't nailed it.
Because of the finger polish.
Yeah,
right?
because of the finger makeup.
Finger makeup.
Sorry, finger makeup.
You wouldn't mind
My
using the
mistake.
correct term.
Apologies, sorry. My weird news comes courtesy of Darius Owen Canning, at Darius Canning on Twitter. And it is from just over a week ago now, actually, I think just after we recorded. So Kotaku and Zach Svison. A man wearing a Sonic mask tries to rob a bank in Florida.
Tries to rob a bank.
Tries.
Okay.
On February the 2nd, local police were dispatched in response to an attempted bank robbery in DeLand, Florida. DeLand, Florida.
In the land of Florida.
The land of Florida.
According to witnesses on the scene, the man entered the bank wearing a Sonic the Hedgehog mask and wielding a large hammer. As reported by the West... Yeah, I'll give you a minute if you want. As reported by the West Volusia Beacon on February the 2nd, a person believed to be a man based on their voice entered the Florida Credit Union in DeLand, Florida, wearing a Sonic mask, wielding a hammer, and demanding money from the bank teller. You okay, Ashton?
Yeah.
Gotta go fast.
According to folks inside the bank at the time, the man used his hammer to bang on the window, separating the suspect from the teller. He continued to demand cash from the employee while banging numerous times on the window. Another bank employee at the Florida Credit Union confronted the Sonic bandit, and the suspect stopped slamming the window with his hammer and then escaped on foot before police arrived
Really
on the scene.
quickly.
Yeah, so speedy.
The credit union's assistant vice president of branch operations, Brian Leatherman, told the West Volusia Beacon that nobody was hurt during the short robbery attempt and no money was stolen either. Everybody is safe, nothing was taken, and local police are on it, Leatherman explained.
Police are now looking for a man with blue hair and a black nose.
He goes very, very
Weird
fast.
teeth. Goes very fast.
Red shoes.
After attempting to rob the place and escaping on foot, authorities searched the area for any sign of the suspect, but he was apparently too fast and they found nothing and no arrest has been made yet.
Following a trail of rings.
So there we are. Kotaku has reached out to Sonic the Hedgehog's representative and agent for a comment on the situation.
What?
And to confirm where the speedy little guy was on February the 2nd, 2022.
Very
Sonic
good.
hasn't responded, probably because he's a fictional video game character and not an actual living being. Probably. That's what it says.
Ozak.
Ozak.
Ozark.
Why does Sonic the Hedgehog have an agent?
Does he
Surely,
have an agent?
that's what you just said. Representative and agent. That's what you said.
I guess they were probably Joshin, Dukesin,
Jukesin, right?
but that's how
They
it's,
were.
that was a proper use of the phrase.
Sure.
Sure.
She's too tired of explaining the young words to us.
To the old people.
We're not that much older
Should
than
I-
you. Why are we? Why
I
is there
feel it every
why
time
is
she
so
speaks
much
to me.
separating us culturally? I don't understand.
Should I give you a new one that's
Yeah, go on.
recently been really popular? So if something is doing like really well, or they're really trying at something, or even like, I don't know, say the flavor of a food is really good, normally you would say that's bussin' if a food was really good.
Yeah, normally we would.
But-
Yeah.
Peter and I say it all the
But
time.
recently, people have been adding ussy, as in pussy, to the
Or
like
bussy.
end of anything. So you might say, "Oh, Ben's really been popping his bussy" when you're doing something that's like really good, and you can say like, "This orange is really busted its ussy because it's so good."
So you can't even have a
It's so
straight
dumb.
face while you're explaining
It's so
it.
dumb.
I have
but it's
seen
like
a few
new-
ussy words
Yeah.
on social media recently.
Yeah.
And that is so stupid, and it'll be gone in like a month, and then
Yeah.
Peter and I will unironically adopt it into
Yeah.
our lexicon way after it's exited
Whoa,
everyone
Yeah.
that's
else's.
so grussy. And
But
no.
You can say
Don't.
bussin'.
Bussing, yeah.
This is
Makes me feel
bussin'.
good.
Surely, though, adding ussy to stuff is like borderline obscene, right? Based on the words that
Yeah.
it's derived from. Roll your eyes. We're trying to keep it clean here, that's all.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but that word is also used for other things, so it's not completely not allowed.
It's true. on a technicality, on a technicussy,
Yeah.
right? I don't know how it works.
I've got a quishy here from Marley, who says, "Hey Abap, hope you're having a swell week." I thought it was a small week. If you could choose a console design for all other consoles to be based off, what would you choose? As for me, I'd rather all of them look like the PS3. Thank you, Ma. Thanks, Ma.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Ma.
Ma.
You're always having a small week, Peter.
Yeah, I am. That's true. Yeah, I am. Small and weak. I would have probably choose the PS4, maybe, or possibly the Xbox One X.
Yeah.
Just sort of dark grey, and just no complicated curves. I don't want a curvy. I want straight edges. Keep it edgy.
Keep
for
it
me.
edgy,
Yeah.
He loves a right angle.
I love a right angle.
Yeah.
I don't even mind. I quite like the little ramp on the front of the PS4, so it doesn't have to be a right
Yeah,
angle.
you can do Hot Wheels stuff with that.
You can.
Tech deck and stuff.
Yeah.
Do mad stunts off it.
I never had any strong feelings about the PS4's design. I thought it's fine until the PS5 came around, which I absolutely hate. I really hate the PS5. I think it's the ugliest console
Wow.
I've ever
Wow.
owned. No, it's probably not as ugly as... I mean, the PS2 is not aged well, has it? It's a monolith. The slimmer PS2 was all right, but I've still got an original one, and it's just huge. But I hate the PS5 so much, whether it's standing up or lying down.
Just want it gone.
It just looks like it wants to be a book, and it's not. It's like, hey, read me. No, I won't. You're a console.
I don't hate it, but I've had the black panels on it for ages, so I don't
not
know if that lessens the impact.
Well, I guess you can't see the plates as much if
It's
black
not as
on black.
vibrant.
Mine's hidden
in the
behind my
black.
TV, so you can't even see it.
It's just the shape. I mean, you can't really see mine. It's just under it's in a little shelf inside a TV stand. But I'm just talking about just when it's
Generally.
out. Just generally.
I don't hate it. I think I've gotten more on board with it. I didn't have a visceral hatred reaction like a lot of people did when it was first released. I think it's ugly lying down. I think the only aesthetically pleasing way to have it is vertical. So it's making me feel so unwell.
Yeah. But vertical, it's not really compatible with a lot of people's media stations.
It's wildly inconvenient. Same with the Series X. Just a big old thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't really lie down very well.
I've never sort of modded a console like visually, cosmetically, and if someone brought out a PS5 that just completely removes the panels and squares everything off, that might be the first time I would ever buy a cosmetic mod or fix for a console, because I would just rather not have the weird panels on it, to be honest. But
Yeah, it's fair.
so I've mostly answered that question just saying what I wouldn't choose, but
Not this.
But yeah, I think probably the PS4. I think since the PS5 came out, I've appreciated that a lot more. And it's not actually very big, the PS4. It's quite narrow, really, when it's lying flat. And Xbox One X is kind of similar in that it's just some nice flat straight lines and things. So probably one of those two.
I also put the PS4 because it fits nicely into most TV stands, which is nice and convenient for the majority of people. Like I say, my PS5 is currently sat behind the TV stand on a windowsill because I have nowhere else to put it other than just on the floor. But having never had one, I really like the GameCube. I think the GameCube looks cool, and I like that it's colourful. And if you could have a range of colours, like as a little GameCube, I would really like that. It's got a handle.
Take it to school.
Yeah, exactly.
There was some I think it was MTV did a range of GameCubes that were all kinds of weird textures and colors. There was wood grain and grass print and stuff. They weren't actually textured. They were just vinyl print or whatever. But yeah, there were some pretty weird ones.
But yeah, I really like the way the GameCube looks. Little toaster, just carry around with
And
me.
the handle.
Put it, just carry it around wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
Take it on a walk.
Take it on
Fancy,
a walk. Yeah.
you know?
Just drag it along the floor.
I wish more game consoles had handles.
Why?
Because sometimes you can't
Attempts
Absolutely
to justify.
no prodding at all. Just fell apart.
Because sometimes no.
just think it'd be nice.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you're right. It's a lovely idea. I can't imagine what a PS4 with a handle on it would look like, though. You know, it just sounds kind of
Silly.
absurd. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's honestly, it's a miracle the GameCube managed to pull it off. I think it says a lot about how well designed that beautiful little box was. Lovely little box of treats.
Yeah.
You know. I think I've written it down actually. So the launch PS3 was a beautiful, sleek mountain. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It weighed the same as 3 toddlers, had that wonderful shiny finish, and had the silver stripe running down the front.
See, I don't like the shine because you can get fingerprints and stuff on it.
Don't touch it.
That's
then.
true.
You have special PlayStation
what your
gloves
handle's for.
that.
Yeah,
That's
it
what the
is, yeah.
handle is for. Exactly. However, if we were talking functionality alone, I would actually say the PS2 because it's one of, apart from maybe the PS4, only consoles that can stand easily vertically and horizontally without a stand.
Yeah.
And is also flat on the top. And, you know, you can put things on it and it won't slide off.
Well, that's why I picked PS4 because you could theoretically put stuff on top
Well,
of that
exactly.
as well.
Not that you are in the habit of just stacking loads
No.
of stuff on top of your console. But I think about every console since the mid-90s even, or even earlier. They've all got like bits
Little
on
bridges
it
and stuff, yeah.
buttons and stuff and to get in the way. And so I think, functionality wise, the PS2 is like, it's great. You know, it just fits everywhere and it's rectangular. It's not very interesting.
It's not
but
very massive either.
No, it's not. And it's
So-
got a little expansion port in the back where you can store biscuits and treats.
Yeah.
Things like that. Memory
Yeah,
cards.
I don't
when
think
you go to
it's-
friend's house.
I don't think it's super pretty. It's not.
No,
it's
it's
nothing
not.
special, but it is very functional. It just does what you need it to do. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be like, I really like the Series S as well. That I'm constantly surprised by how compact that thing is. It's surprisingly heavy, which is understandable given what's in it. But it's just so small.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to transport. And there's a reason that it's the little brother to the Series X in that it's just not as powerful. And if you want something that powerful, it needs to be bigger and it needs to have the venting and the cooling solutions
Yeah.
and look like a nice vase that Peter Austin hates.
A book.
A book, trying to be a book.
My maths folder.
But if we could compress all of that into a tiny little rectangle that we could take anywhere easily in like your backpack, that'd be great.
One day.
One day,
One day they'll stop making consoles just bigger and bigger, and they'll start
make
making
it
them
wider,
smaller
wider,
again.
and
Yeah.
wider. Just smaller,
big
but
pizza
really
box.
flat. Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
Fits
Fits me.
under the TV stand.
Yes.
Yeah.
I came kind of close to saying the PS1, and I think there's a lot of that is going to be nostalgia, isn't it? And it's like it's got a retro look, but actually, just taken on its own merits, it's a. Again, we're talking theoretical here. Like you couldn't get today's technology into that little box, but if you could just have a nice little box, I don't even mind that it's got a physical tray. I think that's kind of cute, and then it just has 2 really big buttons on it, and I think they were very satisfying to press. I think.
My
I do
cat
wish-
loved them.
Yeah, I bet.
I do wish the PlayStation buttons were a bit bigger because I can't. I
don't know which is
I don't
which.
know which
No, I
is
still
which.
don't know which
I
one's
was like,
which.
am I going to eject the disc or put it into
Am I
standby
going to turn it
mode?
off? I don't know.
I don't know what.
And I
I'm
can't
gonna
always see them. I have to like really feel around, see, especially because it's so big. It has to go in the
Just
most
wipe your
inconvenient
feet-
place.
just wipe
I'm just
your
like
fingerprints all over.
No, I can't always find the button straight away. It takes me a couple of attempts because they're so small and they're the same color and like you can't even see them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big time.
Where are the big buttons at? That's what I want to know.
Place the sheet. It's time for the big discussion.
Oh, it's quite reserved, that one.
Big discussy time.
It's time for the big discussion. This week's big discussy comes from Sputnik, who says, since Microsoft entered the game console market with what was, in effect, a gaming computer, the video game consoles seem to be converging on a standard hardware specification from the PC gaming arena, with both the PS5 and Xbox Series both running the same processor and graphics chip available to gaming PCs. Do you miss the days of console manufacturers experimenting with their hardware, like the PS3's Cell processor, which cannot be emulated and was a pain in the arse to develop for? Or do you prefer the common hardware, which in theory promotes easier development across multiple platforms?
Thanks, Sputnik.
Thanks,
Thank
Sputnik.
you, Sputnik.
I think there's definitely pros to having similar stuff across the board. I mean, I think the PS3 was quite infamous for being difficult to develop on.
Oh, yes.
Which is a shame. You do hear about difficulties that people had. And so having a generation now where certainly PlayStation and Xbox are actually very similar hardware-wise, you know that anything that's going to be cross-platform is that it's not going to be a big concern to the developers that, if console A is way more powerful and has, much better graphics card than console B, then, we could make it a really good game that's going to be console A. But if we want it to be available on console B as a port or as a cross-platform thing, we're going to wind it back a bit. We've got to dial it down. So if everyone's on roughly the same playing field, you can just focus on making something for those specs, generally speaking, and that's going to be a positive thing. I do think it was nice. I mean, this isn't necessarily to do with kind of, processing power and stuff, but I liked it when consoles did experiment with their hardware in perhaps a bit of a wilder sense. And, you would have interesting, like the 6-axis controller and stuff like that. People trying new things and doing motion controls, which were kind of rubbish a lot of the time, or touch screens, or, hey, there's 2 screens on your DS and a stylus. So in that sense, I miss the days of people being a bit more experimental. I suppose you could still argue the Switch has done something interesting.
I would, yeah.
Yeah. But that's not really what the question's about. It's more about just general, the kind of more fundamental hardware inside. So, I guess broadly speaking, it's a good thing. I don't think there's a great deal to be said in a modern day setting for having PlayStation and Xbox being wildly different. I don't think there's much to be gained from that. Other than for that individual, for whichever company has the superior console, obviously they would benefit from having better hardware. But across the board, it's probably better that everyone's kind of similar. Yeah.
I think equally between Xbox and PlayStation, obviously, it's a lot more. I was saying more easy, but that's not correct. It's a lot easier for games to be able to be played on PC as well as console. I think, with PlayStation, not as much as Xbox by any stretch of the imagination, kind of venturing slowly but surely into the PC realm and putting their games on PC, I think it stops games having to be kind of not completely remade, but kind of changed and adapted for PC when it's already kind of could run on a PC pretty well, the same way it runs on a PlayStation. So I think it's a good thing. But like you said, I think it is not having those new technologies. I still think there is a lot of innovation in consoles and handhelds. But I think that the PC sphere is potentially a place where new technology works better, because you don't have to buy an entirely new PC to make a new bit of technology work. You can just kind of add that bit of technology to your pre-built PC, which is what most PC players have, a custom-built PC, and they can add and take away things as much as they want. So I think that PC is a good place to try new technology without having to completely reinvent a console. Because I think if you get a new console with a new bit of technology and it kind of is just not a gimmick, but it doesn't work out, then you've then got, games made for that technology that people will never be able to play again. Yeah. Because I mean, this is the only game that's come to my mind. The Seaman game.
Yeah, Seaman.
Yeah, Seaman. Is it Seaman? Seaman, sorry. Seaman, you struggle to play it because of how it initially played, because obviously you need the microphone and it's not as easy to just kind of get that software now as it was at the time. So I think that for games to be, I'm trying to think of a word and I'm struggling to form my sentences. For a game to be as long lasting as I think games currently are, technology needs to kind of work for the long run. You can't have those gimmicks and those mechanics that are only available on certain consoles and in certain situations, because then as soon as that console or technology stops being mass produced, it becomes a lot harder for players to go back and play those games. I don't know where I'm going with this, but that's basically
No, I agree. I agree,
going.
Ashton. I think you're onto it there, because with the PS3 specifically, having been there from day one all the way through to the PS4 launching, it really sucked playing games on that system a lot of the time. That was a notoriously difficult console to develop for, which often meant that third-party games ran like crap. And the quality of life improvements as soon as the PS4 generation began were just, I mean, this almost, I can't even think of I'm also struggling to think of the words, almost unimaginable.
Night and day.
Night and day, thank you. Yeah, if you were there for most of the PS3 generation, then you went to the PS4 generation, you'll know what that was like. As soon as Mark Cerny designed the PS4 to be more like a PC, it was just the quality of third-party ports were way better. Backwards compatibility was an option going forwards, because obviously that's one of the major reasons we haven't seen any kind of PS3 emulation, because it was just so difficult to develop for. The OS ran better. As I said, like third-party support is just way better across the board. I remember struggling immensely with basically every Bethesda RPG that released on PS3 ran very poorly, and some games were just awful, just like almost unplayable, which was not acceptable. I'd argue that Nintendo is still making interesting proprietary stuff, obviously with their Joy-Cons and their motion controls and stuff, but this does come at there's a trade-off there, because they don't have, when I say they don't have strong third-party support, I don't mean they don't have third-party support, because they definitely do. Their indie variety is really impressive. Oh my God, stop stamping around up there. But you don't have your Call of Duties and stuff like that. And the games that do get released on that are obviously scaled back because the hardware is less powerful. So that's the trade-off. If you want to do something special and proprietary, you can do that. And it's definitely working for Nintendo. They don't need Call of Duty on the Switch. They don't.
It's not really their kind of thing anyway, is it really?
But that's what they're giving up. And in the past, they have had Call of Duties on their various consoles, on DS, on Wii, but they've always been weird, bad versions.
Yeah.
Just strange, because they've had to adapt to the control system and stuff. So there's, as I said, there's a trade-off there. But I am much happier now with the places where I play games being as fast as they are and as convenient as they are. And I think if taking off the shelf PC components is the way to do that, then that's great, because I'm never going to be a PC gamer, because things move too fast in that world for me to justify getting into it. And it's also really massively
expensive.
It's expensive and kind of inconvenient. I'd rather buy a box and sort of stick with that, and that's fine. And consoles are moving into a space where they're becoming more modular anyway. So we will eventually, if consoles do reach another generation, we will reach a point where it's not just the hard drives that are upgradable with stuff that you can buy off the internet, but it'll be other things as well that you can probably change. At which point, it may become indistinguishable from
may as well be a
PCs
PC.
anyway.
I think that's a logical progression for
But that
for
might
consoles.
be where we end up.
Because I think it makes sense for the consumer to not have to replace a full console if it breaks down, but just a part that's maybe not as strong. Like how if you've got a PC, if your graphics card stops like doing what you need it to do, you just buy a new graphics card, because you don't want to have to buy a full new like CPU and everything, because that's just expensive. But you can just buy a new graphics card, which I think is like logically for the consumer would be better for the console market to go, because if your your graphics chip in your PlayStation breaks, it's much more difficult to just fix that. You probably have to, buy a new PlayStation at some point if that really mucks itself up. So I think it's convenient and would be less waste in general for both the environment and the player if you could replace parts rather than full consoles.
Well, that's the good thing about having this sort of homogenous PC style capability on consoles now, is that it brings PC capabilities to console gamers who, like Ben, for example, saying, you don't want to start investing in a giant, complicated PC. I've never built a PC. I've always just bought them online. I can't be bothered. I don't understand what chips are better than others and stuff. But it allows people who have perhaps always been console gamers to now play games that are, roughly equivalent to PC games in terms of standards, but without the developers of those games. They know that, well, everyone has the same spec. The thing with a PC is you have to check when you're buying software or buying a game or whatever that, like, am I going to be able to run this? And nowadays, like, generally speaking, I think, like, I think it was more of a problem for me, I remember it being a problem in the 90s and the noughties where you would buy a game and it was sometimes touch and go, whether you'd be able to actually run it. I think generally now, there's a bit more leeway there. But a developer now knows that they can produce a game that is quote unquote like a PC game. It's going to be, it can run on that kind of hardware, but everyone in their audience in terms of the console market has the same console, therefore, or they have the same pseudo PC in their house, and they don't have to worry about specs, which, I think historically has been a problem for some PC players.
There is also still some new hardware, like the controller for the PlayStation 5. Obviously,
it's great.
It's really good, and it's got a lot more kind of innovation in the controller specifically than we've seen in a while. So I think there is still innovation and like new technology being put out with a console, and I suppose it's the best for that kind of a controller. It's the best way to kind of try something out. But I think there is still new technology, but whether that continues into the console itself, we'll just have to wait and see, I guess.
We will. You took the words out of my mouth, Ashton.
Why?
There's definitely still innovation happening. It may be practically the same hardware, but it's what the console manufacturers do with it. Microsoft has been doing some really interesting stuff with sort of the game suspension and having multiple things, a quick resume and the smart cloud saving and all that kind of stuff. Like there's so much stuff that you can do with it. It just so happens that Microsoft's approach to backwards compatibility is a bit, well, it's not there's no comparing it.
Yeah,
it has an approach to backwards compatibility, whereas Sony doesn't. And that could well be because they're hamstrung by decisions to make the PS3 the way they made it.
And it doesn't yet because of this whole Spartan thing that we still don't know anything about and may never actually.
I am Spartacus. No.
My one question is, why do I now have to update the flipping firmware in my controllers?
Yeah,
that is a new thing that I do not enjoy.
Well, if you want your controller
to shout
triggers
at you.
to do a little wobble when you fire your guns,
It already does that.
Well, you want to do it better?
No,
then
it's fine.
You've got to upgrade it.
I've never noticed a single jot of and I know that's generally what updates do. Like, you're not going to notice it as a consumer, as a player, but like, I've never. What is it changing all the time?
We had an issue wherein with 1% of players, the controller actually became sentient and murdered everyone.
Them.
So, you got to be careful.
Nightmare. I hate when that happens.
It's a story of convenience as much as anything else. I think everything's just a lot easier now, and as there are still people doing interesting things with normalized hardware, and then there's Nintendo, who will always just do whatever they want.
Yeah,
PC are innovating a lot more now in terms of like VR, and also the Steam Deck coming out is a really kind of jump forward in what the Switch could potentially end up as, because the Steam can run lots of PC games that the Switch would literally combust if you tried to play it on it. So I think the Steam Deck is a new thing that's coming out that I think would be very interesting to see where that pushes the handheld market. If it even touches the Switch, they've not got to worry about it really. But at least, there's that technology that is available, and if we see if it actually works and actually is something that a lot of PC gamers can use, then maybe, just maybe, it might become a big thing. You never know.
Hey, bring back Stadia. That's what I want.
Bring back Stadia.
Bring back the OnLive and the Ouya. That's what I like. Now, those are some real trailblazers right there. Rest in peace. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. We're going to tell you about how you can find us on the internet. Make sure you let us know what we've spoken about this week. What do you think?
Yeah, what do you think?
Eh?
Huh?
We are at youtube.com and twitch.tv/Team TripleJump. That's where we do all of our content, videos, and live streams. When we're streaming on both of those channels, we are modded by Lord Brotovich, Trowling Badger, and Mr. Black. You might have Amazon Prime. If you do, one of the things you get with that is a Twitch sub. No extra cost. So you could spend that on us. You get all the normal benefits, and so do we. And it's fine. It's all in there. Twitter.com and Facebook.com/Team TripleJump. That's our social media presence. Head over there for video and live stream announcements, legacy video content, perhaps a Facebook Live one day. I say it every week. Might happen.
We've done them before.
And Patreon.com/Team TripleJump is where you can go to look at all our Patreon tiers. Such as early worst games ever, weirdest games ever, podcast producer questions, etc. We wish you a Merry Christmas.
We have a website. It's TripleJ.mup. That's TripleJU.mp. Spells jump. If you want to join our Discord, we're a lovely community hangout. You can go to TripleJ.mup/Discord. On Discord, we're modded by Jack, Joe, Tori, and Hollow Eyes. And if they tell you to do something, bloody do it.
Bloody do it.
If you want to listen to the podcast in its audio form in any way, maybe you've got a long train journey and you're tired of watching Horizon Forbidden West adverts on everything you've watched, maybe go to TripleJ.mup/podcast to see where you can listen to it in all of its audio forms. If you've missed one of the many live streams we do, go to TripleJ.mup/VODs to check out all of the live streams. And last but not least, if you want to buy some sick and cool merch, which you have on.
Look at this.
Wow.
It's a sports time
jacket.
tracksuit. It's got sports time on the back.
Oh yeah, here we go. Sports time
This is
on the
no
back.
longer available, and I'm wearing a Yogscast hoodie. So
Yes, you are. This is a really good track jacket, though. Go get it now. It's available on the shop. It's very warm and comfortable.
To get it, you can go to TripleJumpShop.com. That's TripleJumpShop.com. And if you've received some merch, or maybe you want to see when the next merch drop is coming out and get all of the sick and cool information about it, go to Triple Shop on Twitter.
Twitter. Why not follow Peter and Ashton on Instagram and Twitter? At that Peter Austin and at Scrambled Ashton. And myself just on Twitter at confused_dude. Are you annoyed now?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
You carry on.
Lists, we do those every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Streams every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Thursday being the joint stream
Blaze it.
on YouTube, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday being the solo streams on Twitch. Worst Games Ever is fortnightly for everyone. Friday for patrons of a certain tier. Sunday for everyone else. The podcast is every Saturday, and we do shows all the bloody time. Come on in. What is fine, I think. Why not leave a review, a 5-star review, on iTunes or your platform of choice? It helps something to do with Al Gore's rhythms. Remember, facebook.com/Team TripleJump. Go give us a follow. You've done a special video, haven't you, Ashton?
I did. I have researched and written down everything you need to know about Horizon Zero Dawn before you play Horizon Forbidden West on Friday. It's not everything in the game. Like, there is things that I've missed out and I've purposefully not included because otherwise the video would be an hour and a half long. So it's just the important parts of the story to go into the next one that you need to know. It's a plot summary, bit of lore, and a bit of speculation about what's coming in the next game. So check that out because I made it and I think you should watch it.
It's fantastic. Go watch it.
Thanks.
Give it some support. Now, we, at the time of recording, we're hoping this afternoon to have attempted a speed run for Captain Scarlet on the PS2. Peter, speaking as the person who presumably has set the speed run before you've set it, how did you find it?
I found it bussin'. It was real bussin', and he is inimitable.
Yes.
And that live stream VOD was unmissable.
Nice.
So you should head to, if you didn't see it live, go to TripleJ.mup/VOD.
Presumably, we set the speedrun record because there isn't one, and it's currently in its lengthy review process with speedruns.net or whatever it's called, because the Sniper 2 took a while to get approved. But we may well be speedrun record holders once more.
Until someone else takes it over.
I think people do browse
us
by newest category and then just try and beat whatever's there. But for a little time, we'll be the first. Well, we will always be the first, but we will be first for probably a little while.
For a short while.
Weirdest Games Ever is this week, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
The one we recorded when we were in lockdown.
Yeah.
Briefly.
Working from home.
Working from home. So it's just no face cam. Just voices.
audio.
Sitting ducks.
It's a weird game.
GTA, but with
Very
ducks.
weird. Sort of inspired the show as a whole. One of the 2 games we wanted to play the Disney skateboarding one and Sitting Ducks, and we're like, we can't play those.
They're not bad enough for worse games.
Yeah, well, this game maybe was.
As it turns
pretty
out,
bad
we were like, maybe we could have.
Really rubbish.
Yeah.
There we are. One final thing, actually, coming the beginning of next week, on Monday, actually, is the annual Hunky Boys list. It's a Valentine's Day, traditional Valentine's era week. Tradition.
Sure.
On
Valentine.
Triple Jump. This will be our 4th one.
People
We've
don't
done
watch
4
them,
of these.
and they are like my favorite list we do every year. It's
Cat
the best list.
Is going to hell.
Yeah.
Like actually going to hell. Some of the things that I had to say, there's outtakes of me just going, I can't say it. I can't get through this sentence without like feeling a real visceral uncomfortableness in my brain. But she's going to hell, so you should watch it to spare her soul.
If you're unfamiliar, this is our annual rundown of the 15 hunkiest video game boys of the past year. And it's very much a tongue-in-cheek fawning over perhaps non-traditional hunky boys.
Yeah,
We've
some of them are
had
traditional hunky
Yeah.
boys.
Former winners include the Nintendo Labo fishing rod, the Boeing
737 Dreamliner,
from Microsoft Flight Simulator.
the Gardener from Untitled Goose Game.
Yes, he won as well. And then this year, whoa,
Who
You're in
could
for
it
a
be?
treat.
you better prepare yourself. So that'll be out on Monday.
We've
Go
had
watch
some
that.
great entries over there. We had a lion from Zoo Tycoon.
Lion
Just
made
our
it in
lion. Yeah.
We've had cars before. The cook from Red Dead Redemption 2.
Beasts from Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
And
All sorts, mythical creatures. It's well worth checking out. So go get your Valentine's Day fix on Monday.
Yeah.
You flipping better. I'll
Flipping
hit this
should.
microphone again. Ashton, remind us what the amazing sponsor of this week was.
It's of course the place where you can overcome your poo shyness with the sea poo.
I didn't realize poo shyness was a thing that could be overcome with this. That's good. That's another feature.
Another bonus.
Sipu just sounds like a children's TV character.
Sounds a
Right.
bit like Shamu.
I'm Sammy
whale.
Sipu. Yeah.
R.I.P. Shamu.
Shamu. R.I.P. CP.
R.I.P. sea poo.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to go now. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekends and stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Bye.